Hello, my rats, and welcome back to Ratitude Check. Are you ready for your Ratitude Check? Because I am. Today, I'm thinking of just doing a big sister chat. I know I promised you Zachary, but he chickened out. He got nervous. I'm going to try again because I screenshotted everyone's questions from the rat chats. So we will do it. It's just Zach's not like an on-camera person, and I like to respect that. So when he feels like, okay, like today would be a good day, like I can do it today, then we'll do it. So I've got the questions, so don't worry. But yeah, I do really want to film with Zach, but life has been really, really busy right now. Also, I got fake tan on, so I need to rinse it off. Just so you know, the bronzing pigments, whenever you put it on, it looks a lot scarier than when it washes off. Kind of a good segue into big sister chats in a sense. I'm just gonna go through like some of my advice off the top of my head. I know we've done a lot of like feely episodes. I'm hoping this is like maybe a mix, but you know me, I'm probably gonna get into some sort of feely element because that's just what I do. But yeah, in general, I just thought like even just like fun tips for the rats. Let's just start with fake tan because I'm like racking my brain. Where do I want to start? Let's just start and then I'll word vomit and we'll go like that because that's how every episode has been so far. Fake tan, like whether you do it or don't, you don't have to. I do because I avoid the sun because I fear skin cancer. So there's a big sister tip. Please wear sunscreen. Everybody needs sunscreen. Doesn't matter what the time of year or the amount of sun outside. If you need it, okay? So anyways, yeah, in the summertime, I do like to fake tan once in a while. Honestly, I've never thought the price of the fake tans have ever really made a difference. Like, I've tried high-end ones, and I've also tried the Jergens one. The Jergens one is $9, and it's completely effective. She's really good. It's literally, maybe, inflation. She might be more now. Currently, though, I am using Coco and Eve. That's the one that's on right now. That's the one that went viral on TikTok. It is a really good one. I do really like that one. Some tips for fake tanning, because why not? Basically, like, you don't want to shave right before you fake tan. Like, a lot of people tend to, like, shave. They exfoliate, they shave, because you want to exfoliate before you fake tan. But they'll do it, and then they'll shave, and then actually those pores are just really open, so the pigment from the fake tan might settle in the follicle kind of vibe, and you might look like you have, like, little dots of fake tan all down your legs after day 2 or day 3. So the way to avoid that is to fake tan on hairy legs, which I have done, and then when you rinse off the fake tan, that is when you shave. Another thing to do is take an old makeup brush you don't like anymore and start using it to do your neck, your hands. I don't put fake tan on my hands. I just take a little pump into a mitt, and then I take the brush and I pat it off into the mitt, and then I just brush it over the hands. Because the hands you can really make, they'll expose you. They will expose you. Another thing you can do with the hands if you don't like things is just take some glycolic acid afterwards and like scrub it off. You can also take some moisturizer onto your hands and then do your hands. That can also make the hands look a lot better too. I feel like that was a lame one to start with. I'm working late because I'm a singer. That is so stuck in my head. It's crazy. I really like it. Okay, let's get into some actual big sister. Well, should we stay with cosmetics? My gosh, welcome to my brain. Rosie just potted the door. I don't want to... If I go to let her out, but I don't sit with her outside, she gets really upset and she comes back in because she thinks she and I should always be beside each other, okay? What a good dog. I think this is an interesting big sister kind of opinion on beauty, which maybe I haven't touched on yet, but like, you are going to hear so many things about beauty and aging and all of the shit you could be doing. Please don't consume it all. You're going to get frazzled and it's going to start affecting you in like a weird way because like we don't need all that information. We don't need to hate our bodies that much that like I saw a video, and this is no shade to whoever put that video out in the world, but it was because and it mattered to this individual. So this individual was sharing, and I understand that because sometimes I share stuff and I'm sure there's people who are like, this doesn't resonate. So this is just something that didn't resonate for me because I was like, my God, please. Do we have to go there? But obviously it mattered to this individual. I think this individual was like 40 years old, and they were saying, start putting the tretinoin on your knees. Trust me. And I'm like, do I need to worry about my kneecaps at 40? Do I act like, are we kidding? Now, I get it because that's probably this person's like insecurity now. And like insecurities are really hard. So I'm not judging that creator for like coming out and saying that. But I'm like, good God. I don't want to be worried about what my kneecaps look like. That's the last thing I want to worry about. Like, of all the things on this earth, I don't care what my kneecaps look like at 40. I mean, famous last words, maybe like at 40 I'm going to hate my kneecaps, but I'm like, why should we ever hate our kneecaps. Were they ever beautiful to begin with? Or are they just like a functional part of the body that we can ignore? So I just need you guys to turn on that filter for when you're consuming content to know, you know what, that actually doesn't matter. No, that one doesn't matter. And then you might scroll to another one and you're like, ooh, that's resonating. I don't want crow's feet when I'm older. Okay. But like some shit scares me. Oh, it's going to come into a beauty standards chat. I'm going to have to do a TED Talk on beauty standards one day, guys. Like, I'm so passionate about it. But also, if you can kind of hear a cold in my voice, it's because I was really sick last week and it's, like, lingering. I'm not sick anymore, but, like, the shit is lingering. What was I saying? The TED Talk about beauty standards. Well, here's another one. Another video where I just wanted to scream. I genuinely wanted to scream. I don't make rants on the internet because I don't believe in it, because I don't like to yuck other people's yums. I think everyone has a right to go out and say what they think is important. Whatever. Free speech, bitch. Okay. But sure, I see shit online and I'm like, what the fuck? And this was one of them. And it was like, it's a bit of a trend too, where it was like, complimenting older women for looking young, and the secret was they didn't emote. Like, I actually can't with that. I can't with that. Like, they didn't ever raise their eyebrows, and they didn't smile too much, and they didn't crease their eyes too much, because yes, that is how you get the wrinkles, like the emotions on your face over a certain amount of time, breaking down that collagen and entering a pattern and entering a wrinkle. Okay. I actually hate that advice. Hate. And I don't say that often, but I hate that advice. I think that's absolutely absurd. I think if you're worried about making expressions, that makes me really freaking sad. Human expression is like one of the nicest things we have on this earth, and there's not a lot of nice things on this earth right now, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. Seeing people smile, that's one of the nice things. Why would we ever want to stop that? Like, your eyes crease? Okay, because you're happy? Like, we got to slow that down. That's scary. I'm scared. Rewind. I don't like this. Please don't stop your emotions for fear of wrinkles. That's not the right reason to stop emotions, right? There's no real right reason to stop emotions, I don't think. Certainly not for a beauty standard. Like, come on. Like, come on. Let's not do this. I don't know. I really hate that one. Some other big sister advice, kind of linking on beauty standards, which I've failed at, but I'm working on now. Well, I kind of work on it periodically, but it's like, you are the prettiest, healthiest you'll ever be. The fact of the matter is, time does decline the human body, right? So, like, every day in your body is pretty precious. And I know I talked about that from the health viewpoint, but, like, even just, like, appreciating what you look like right now, because it rarely gets better from here. So if you're not enjoying right now, you will never enjoy. And that is something I'm guilty of. And, I've talked about this before, but because of my acne, like most of my 20s, I would say like 80% of my 20s has been feeling really unconfident and unworthy. And I think that's really sad, because I know for a fact when I'm 80, I'm going to be like, we were so beautiful and we missed it. We completely missed it. I don't want anyone to miss that. So I'm really trying now, and there are like peaks and valleys with it. As you guys know, my confidence journey has been a lot of peaks and valleys. Like, I'm actually in a bit of a valley right now, because I was saying to my friends the other day, I'm going through a phase again where I find it hard to leave the house without makeup. Not to walk the dog, not to get groceries. I'm not at that level yet. I used to be with my acne, I'm not there. I'm just more like I had rehearsal with my friends the other night. My friends love me. Like, I don't need to put makeup on for my friends. They're not judging me. They're not looking at my acne or my acne scars. But I felt compelled to put a little makeup on, and I did follow that compulsion. Is that the right word? I did follow that, and I put a little makeup on, and I felt good about myself. And again, a little makeup never hurt anybody. You guys know I don't think there's anything wrong with slapping a little bit of makeup on, but I do think this kind of like self-reflection is also important for when it does start to like become a thing, and I'm like, oh, I'm entering back into a bit of an era of like, I feel like I need makeup, whereas makeup should just be a fun confidence boost, not like an essential confidence boost. You know what I mean? It's a fine line. I just really want you guys, as your big sister, to like really recognize what you have right now. And even if it has to go to that body neutrality thing that I talked about in one of the episodes about like my diabetes. I haven't done a diabetes episode yet, but anyways, and we might never, but maybe we will. But, I talked about body neutrality being so key in this. And it's like, you can just start with the fact that you can just be grateful that the body you're in is letting you do a lot of amazing things that you love. It's letting you go and eat amazing ice cream in the summertime and swim in a lake or whatever it does let you do. LOL, mine almost didn't let me swim in a lake last week because I forgot the little plug in the hole in my stomach. That's a different story. I just think it'd be really cute if you started like looking at your hands and enjoying how strong and beautiful and capable they are right now. Looking at your legs and going, wow, like these legs carry me everywhere. They're so beautiful. Like that's kind of body neutrality, like infused with like entering beauty and entering confidence and starting to love the things you have because of the things they let you do. I think that's really beautiful. And I don't want us to miss out on this chapter of like appreciating our young bodies. And it doesn't matter what age you are listening to this, you're still the youngest you will ever be, and you only get older from here. So enjoy every piece. That's another big sister link. I mean, isn't it funny? Like I just start chatting and then the links just link to like different topics. It's so funny. Because that's an interesting link is just, what was I going to say? I wish I wasn't so dumb. I literally played that back and was like, where'd the link go? Where was I going with that? But the link was in my head. I had no vocal cue. So we'll never know what stroke of genius I was about to spew at you. Let's just jump topics and talk about friends. I want to do an episode on friendship. Friendships can be hard, especially the older you get. Friendships can be really hard, but honestly, I think friendship is always kind of hard, like because it ebbs and it flows, and you become friends with people when you're in a chapter of your life, and then sometimes you exit that chapter of your life. And that's actually what can make relationships so hard because, you fall in love in a certain chapter, but in a relationship with a spouse or a partner, you guys are going to roll into the next phase together, and you have to keep liking that person your person becomes, because honestly, life changes us, age changes us, what we learn changes us, our jobs, our careers, our decisions, our friends, our circle of people around us, what we consume online, it all changes us. So we're constantly like evolving, and hopefully in good ways and sometimes in bad ways, and those are harder to like fight through. But your friends, it's not technically or not necessarily someone that has to like the new version of you, And sometimes we get those friendship breakups, or friendships really alter and change, and who you were besties with in high school might not be who you're besties with now. And it's all dependent. And don't blame yourself, because it's all dependent on the two people or the three people, whoever it's about, them all choosing to go on that adventure all together as people change. Like currently, I'm only friends with one of my high school friends from high school, and that nothing ended badly. It just slowly ended. And now we all are polite and acquaintances, and we keep up on social media when exciting things happen in their lives. I comment on it, genuinely excited for them, but it's like, yeah, I don't call them anymore. I don't hang out with them anymore. Distance can obviously be a factor. Like I moved to Toronto, and a lot of them, I went to high school in Ottawa. So, I'm just never back in Ottawa. And yeah, it was just like, I think just slowly in your brain sometimes things shift, and it doesn't have to be bad. It's just that, like not everyone in that group decided to move forward together as we all changed and adapted. And in that case, a lot of it was just the space and distance. It was just became too much of a commitment, and then it was COVID, and then I officially kind of like just fell off with all of those people. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened if COVID had never been a thing, but COVID really impacted like a lot of my friendships that were like on the verge of closing or becoming something else. And that's okay. I think it's just like try not to harbor bad feelings about those things, because life is life and life moves on, and people's lives are busy, and someone can't always give you 100% of themselves. And sometimes you're in a needier phase than someone's able to give, and neither person is in the wrong, but someone might feel in the wrong or accuse someone else of being in the wrong, and sometimes things can end ugly. Something as a big sister to you guys, I want you to understand, because I think it's something that the world is absolutely losing, is the ability to just lay things on the table and have good, open conversations. Like the amount of extra drama I see in the world or in my own life is like when someone's just not giving someone clear communication. It drives me crazy. I pride myself on clear communication. It's one thing I do right. There's a lot of things I do wrong, but I am a communication girly. If there's a problem, I want to talk about it. And I don't explode because there's no need to explode. Like if your friend comes to you and is like, "I didn't like this," you need to know that. You need to know that. Whether you disagree with it or you agree with it, you need to know it. It's amazing that they've told you it. Imagine letting the friendship dissipate because they never brought it up and you could never correct it or have a conversation as to why you did behave that way. It's essential. When you have a bad feeling about someone, like let's say someone does you wrong. They've done you wrong and you're upset, but I'm not going to tell them because I don't want to start drama. It's like, well, instead of starting drama, you're just actually starting the decline of that friendship. It's going to be like a poison, it's going to fester. It's pretty rare, I think, that people move on without closure of some sort. So the best thing to do, like when there's an issue, is take a day. Like let's say something, all right, your friend offends you. Take that day, okay? Don't reach out that day. Reach out the next day once you've slept on it. Because then you can enter a different headspace. If you're reacting from the hurt headspace, you're probably going to react in the wrong way and be toxic or not effective, you know? You got to take some space because we need you reacting from good head place, good headspace where you're like, okay, I've thought about this. The hurt is much less, but yes, I am still offended, so I am going to bring this up. Does this need to be dramatic? No, never. Drama is never necessary. It just isn't, sadly. I know humans like it. I know it spices up life once in a while, but it, at the end of the day, is always unnecessary. So I try to keep things light. I like emojis, or if pick up the phone, because like tone of voice can also be so effective. My friends and I, like anytime there's like a thing someone didn't like, we always like either send a voice note so tone can be understood, or we send a text like, "Hey, like can we talk about this thing, like when are you free?" And then I just write back, "Yep, I'm free today at like 4, so why don't you give me a call then?" And then you can jump on the phone and have a productive conversation. And at the end of the day, there's nothing to fear there because you're friends. Nobody wants to hurt anyone. You just got to get something on the table and understand it. And then you guys can move forward in the way that you find is best. Hopefully no one's reactive. All of this is said with the grain of salt of the molehill of salt, understanding that your friends are grounded and rational humans. Sometimes people aren't acting from that headspace, as we discussed. Like if someone's coming at you from the hurt headspace, I think you have every right to go, "Hey, I really want to hear about this, but it sounds like you're in the hurt headspace right now." Well, don't say the hurt headspace, but it sounds like you're really caught up. Or that's probably mean too. Hold on, let me get the right words for you guys. Something, just cutting them off if they're getting going and saying, "Hey, I really want to talk about this. I'm really glad you brought this up. Why don't we take a breath? I want to make sure we have a productive conversation. So why don't you just take a breath, call me back in 20 minutes? Like seriously, because you don't need to put up with shit either. Like if someone's coming at you, no, 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 no. And I should preface this entire episode with the fact that this is just my experience, and my big sister advice, not professional advice, but it seems to work for me. Clear communication, there's nothing better. There is nothing better than it. Like, shouldn't you want to know? Like, no one wants to know the hurtful stuff. Like, I don't want to know if someone hates my outfit. I don't need to know that. I do need to know if someone, I don't know, was caught off guard by something I said. That I need to know. I need to correct that. If you're a good, loving human, you'll want to correct that for your friend. It shouldn't offend you and it shouldn't be that uncomfortable because at the end of the day, you guys love each other. It should be okay. It is super uncomfortable. You might have a toxic friend, right? Like if you're scared to tell your friend something, I would reflect on that friendship because it sounds like your friend should be someone you can talk to and develop this kind of relationship with. Otherwise, friendships don't tend to last, right? Like if you're not able to problem solve together, it's just eventually time will win out on all the things unsaid. I think I've said this many times, but I am a fan of the friendship breakup, and I don't think it has to be like a big dramatic breakup, but I do think protecting your own peace is very important, and I think the people you surround yourself with really frickin' matter, and that's like kind of proven because they've done tests where it's like, yeah, the 5 people closest to you really impact your life, so you need to like and respect and enjoy what those 5 people are putting out in the universe because it's going to rub off on you. Are Libras good communicators? Because it's funny, I'm going to tell you a small anecdote. when I was in grade 9, I had just moved. We've moved a lot in our lifetime. I was born in Alberta. It's a long story. But we were briefly living in London, Ontario for like 3 years. And then we moved to Ottawa and I had to go to high school. And we moved partway through the year. It was really uncomfortable. That's a different story time. Moving is hard when you're a child. What I want to tell you though is a friend from London, Ontario started being quite mean to me through emails. And I started going, this is not vibing with me. What an aware 14-year-old girl. I was impressed. I'm currently impressed with myself. Did I handle it well? No, because this is what happened. I was like, I think I'm starting to get bullied from these emails. I'm starting to get scared to open my email because this person's starting to impact my brain negatively. And finally, she called me, and I remember on the phone, she started getting mean. I panicked, started crying, and I was like, you know what? I just don't want to be your friend anymore. Let's not be friends. And I hung up. And that was my first friendship breakup. I did it in the dramatic way. Now, you can't blame a 14-year-old for panicking and not knowing what to do in that situation. But looking back, that 14-year-old could have handled that better. But also looking back, slay 14-year-old, yeah, you don't need to be bullied. You do not need a toxic person in your life. Good riddance. And it's fine. I didn't say anything mean. I mean, so like kudos for that. You never want to be mean. There's no need to be mean. But to panic and spew stuff out of your mouth also isn't effective. Probably would have been better if I had said, hey, really appreciate your time as my friend. You're currently really stressing me out, and I just think we need to take a bit of a friendship pause here. And maybe you can revisit it. Like, like if you can do it in a healthy way, you might actually save the friendship. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying don't be toxic. And who knows what'll happen? It could be a great conversation. It might save the friendship, like I said. I've had life-saving friendship chats, like where it's like, this friendship's really struggling right now. And then you lay it on the table. Everyone does it really politely and with respect because, again, you guys love each other. There's a lot of history there. You don't need to be dramatic or mean. And it saves the friendship because it's like, okay, everyone got everything off their chest. We know what's good, what's bad, what not to do, what we need more of, what we need less of, and you move on. It saves a friendship. I think the world is just so afraid of communication. And it's like scary because it's like that is key. It is seriously so freaking key. You also need to be able to develop a voice for yourself. This is something I've talked to with other friends who I hear stories about the toxic people in their lives and I'm like, you gotta protect your peace. That is key. You gotta learn how to do that. You have every right to do that as long as you do it in a polite, respectful way. You have every right to do it. Yes, it can be scary and sometimes people act toxic. Even when you're not being toxic, you're just like, hey, I'm just putting up this boundary that I need. That's very slay of me. And they're like, blah, blah. Like, that's not cool. They're obviously toxic. So again, I'm not saying it's easy, but you do need to develop some sort of voice for yourself and know when you need a boundary or when you need space or when you need anything. That is going to be really key in your life. Same thing in relationships with like romantic partners. You need to be able to voice what you need to voice. Not everything's going to be perfect. You need to develop an ability to communicate in a respectful way, but an effective way, because you have a right to do it. Being passive aggressive, that doesn't work for anyone. That doesn't work for anyone. I had an interesting conversation with my friend the other day. I think a lot of our moms are passive aggressive because, and we were talking about it because I sometimes joke my mom is literally awesome. She is a Disney princess, like a literal angel on this earth. But when something upsets her, her default will be passive aggressiveness, like a little bit like withdrawn and a little moody for a second to let everyone know she's upset. Instead of voicing, hey, I didn't like that. Can you guys not say that or whatever happened, right? She'll go the passive aggressive route. And I was talking to my friend who said her mom does that as well. And I know some other friends' moms who do that as well. And so my friend Margaret was saying, like, I think it might be that in their, it might be like hashtag Barbie movie when they were women growing up. The vibe was not establish boundaries. The vibe was not speak your mind. The vibe was shut up and be pretty little wives. So then they developed this pretty little wife tactic to show people they were upset because their words weren't valued. Now, maybe that's a little too deep. Maybe that's a deep cut. I don't know, but I think there's something there. They grew up in a different era, and it's interesting that a lot of them use this tactic. Now, maybe it's just in general why I'm going to put a broad gender on this, but anyone can be passive aggressive, but maybe women do lean towards passive aggressiveness because we are told, shut up, nobody, don't be sassy, don't be aggressive, nobody likes that in a woman. So what do? Passive aggressive. It's literally called passive aggressive. It's not good. It's bad. It's bad vibes because you might think you're doing something effective by slowly noting or silently asking for the help you need, but it'd be so much more effective if you just asked for the help you need because you have every right to ask for the help you need. Some spaces are going to be safer to do that than others, and that's life, and that is really tricky. Like, absolutely, there have been times where I've not liked something and I've not spoken up. I've told you, I've recently been bullied. Like at 28 and 29, there was a bully in my life. I didn't say anything, but I did friendship breakup. I did. I also decided, and this might be toxic advice, I sometimes decide when someone's just an unsafe person and I have to kind of silently exit. Slowly, silently, politely, and with a smile on my face, I'm like, you've crossed the line. I don't feel safe with you. I'm going to withdraw now. Whatever you gotta do, right? Like, I'm always gonna support the rats. I just want you making good choices, but I just want you to know you're allowed to have a voice to voice things in this life. You're allowed boundaries. You're allowed to exit situations that are not healthy for you. It's not always easy. Like, for example, Noor and I were talking about this in the episode with Noor. Sometimes it's in the workplace. That's really hard. That's a little bit like why this friendship breakup I lasted. I just was like, I'm just going to be silent because it was kind of like I said, like it was someone in the acting community that I thought was my friend. Clearly wasn't. But because we work in similar circles, I really wanted everything to just kind of fizzle. Sometimes a fizzle, it's not the most healthy, but it is a good way to avoid drama with someone who's kind of like an unsafe character. So, talk to your therapist, talk to a professional on that one, but I have done the odd fizzle. The fizzle can be effective. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Relationships can fizzle. It's kind of like taking the natural route, but you are actually driving it. They just don't know you're driving it. But at least no mean things are said. At least no one's feelings are... it can be confusing. I'm not saying it's the best thing. But it's a little more natural if you don't feel safe to be like, hey, I don't like it when you do this. I don't like it when you say this. Like, which again, you have every right to do. As your big sister, those are like really two big points. Like, I want you to find love for yourself. And actually, they're the same point. Because if you have love for yourself, you have a voice for yourself. An effective voice for yourself. These are the two things I really want for you as your big sister. Some's going to come more naturally than other things, right? Like for me, the voice was more natural. The self-love was not. That was a little bit more my journey. A lot of people I know actually, their journey is finding the voice. I was a strong-willed child. I tested my dad quite a lot. 'Cause my dad's a strong-willed, really strong guy. And I'm very like him. But I'm a woman. So it was a different growing up experience. Like, not everyone loves that. And I talk about that. That's another thing I'd love to talk about. I always love talking about, A, the rats, and B, womanhood, because I am a woman and it's just top of mind all the time, right? But yeah, growing up a strong-willed, kind of verbal woman, not always the easiest thing. No. But I fine-tuned my voice. For some people, it's finding their voice. Mine was fine-tuning that voice. Because sometimes I was too strong with that voice. And words can cut, and that's not nice. So my dad really worked on that with me. Oh my God, did he He was good. I had really good parents. That's a whole other topic. Very blessed in the parent department. But yeah, I really want you to find your voice if you don't have the voice. And you also need to do some self-reflection if your voice is toxic. Like, you might have the voice, but are you wielding it like a weapon? That's not good. Don't do that. Self-reflection is another thing. As your big sister, I've said this before. I'll probably say this every episode, because self-reflection, self-awareness, one of the most powerful tools you can have as a human. You can have any background, any education, anything like that. But when it comes to self-reflection, you can be the smartest person in the room. Emotional intelligence, slay. It's really lacking nowadays, and I think it's a lot to do with the fact that everyone's talking to robots more than they're talking to real humans. They're talking to the phone in their hand, But it's a real slay to be able to be self-aware. Also be a huge slay to lean into discomfort. There's going to be a lot of times in your life when you're going to have to lean into something that's uncomfortable. For example, friendship talks, where it's like, hey, friendship's gone a little sour. We need to have a conversation. That's uncomfortable, but really important. So leaning into discomfort can be good. Not when the discomfort's toxic. You do not have to lean into something that's unhealthy. No. It's that feeling in your stomach when where you see, again, that self-awareness muscle is so effective, because you need that muscle in your stomach that's like, ooh, are we being this right now? Do I need to self-reflect on that and adapt? It's the same chat with like therapy. It's like knowing when to go to therapy. Like, that's a self-awareness thing, and like therapy can be life-changing. I'm signed up, by the way. My first session is next week. I had my consult on Wednesday, and I'm really grateful to Rachel, because in that episode where we talked about therapy and how to find a therapist, she was amazing and she gave me so many good tips. So I really applied a lot of her tips when I was doing the consultation to figure out if this person would be a good fit for me. And I think they're going to be, so I'm excited. Self-love, self-awareness, voice. Okay? I think that's gonna be the rat motto. I'm very like, I should do an episode on feeling. Now, not everyone likes this term, but woo-woo. I'm gonna use it because you understand what I mean by woo-woo. Like, I am very in tune in that way. Okay? And when I said that, I got a little feeling in my stomach. Like, yes, this is what the rats need. These are 3 important things for a rat. These are things I really want for you guys. These are things I want for myself. Still working on one of them, And comes with time, comes with age. Totally. You don't just come out of the womb perfect. You just don't. Gratitude, I would say that's a big secondary. The people who are grateful are the people who are able to find happiness and contentness. If you're always searching for something, if you're never finding gratitude, you'll never find happiness. So you got to start practicing gratitude. That one is huge. That one is not bullshit. Like, I know sometimes you'll hear like a self-helpy thing and be like, nah, it's not going to work. That one, ride or die. That one that one goes crazy, okay? That one goes crazy. You need to be able to find gratitude. And it's funny because it's something I knew about myself before it became a buzzword in today's society. But I remember being like 20 and like being really excited about my morning coffee and going, like, I feel like it's a really good thing that I can be this happy about something so simple. And now I actively try to practice gratitude instead of it just happening sometimes, like when you're looking at a tree and your brain finally goes like, wow, the world is beautiful. That's so key. So it can be a practice, because imagine having more happy thoughts like that. Amazing. Anyway, rats, I'm really getting on a bit of a rant here. Like, I feel like we've chatted about a lot. I feel like we could do a big sister chat part 2. I'm going to try to lock down Zachary this weekend for the Zachary episode. I really want you guys to know that I love you so much. And I'm going to give a little career note here, just because I am struggling in my career right now. So I just want to say thank you, because any love you guys give me, any support, like saving, sharing, commenting, liking, it is game-changing for me, and I'm just so thankful that we have this community and that you can do that for me. And that's why I hope episodes like this are my way of giving back, like helping the rats. Like, I'm not amazing. I can only give you what I know in my pea brain, but I try because I really love you guys. I just really like this community we've built. I really appreciate you. You guys change my life every day, and I'm so grateful. There you go, practicing gratitude to end the episode. So, like and subscribe, guys. If you're not following me on YouTube, just give me a follow. I'm not too annoying over there. It might not be so bad, just any help I can get, because I'm just so scared I'm not going to be able to get to my career. I am scared. So, anyways, I love you, and I'm very thankful, very thankful. But, rats, that's the end of the episode.